In this lecture, let us understand what is encapsulation. Encapsulation in Java is a mechanism of wrapping the data, which is nothing but the member variables, and then the code acting on the data, which is nothing but the methods, together as a single unit. In encapsulation, the variables of the class will be hidden from other classes and can only be accessed through the methods of the current class. So therefore, it is also known as data hiding. In order to achieve that encapsulation in Java, basically what you do is you make all your member variables or the data members of the class as private, and you provide public setter and getter methods to modify or view the variable values. So let's get started with an example where we are creating a class with encapsulation and without encapsulation and see how it really helps. So let me create a new project, which I'm going to call it as encapsulation sample. So within which I'm going to create a class named as employee. So going forward, any class that we create will have the package structure. So here I have the following data members: employee ID and then the salary. And also I have a method to print these details. So I'm just going to call that as like print details. So I'm going to have one more class named as test, which is going to have the main method. So here I'm going to create the instance of the employee class. So here I can access the data members of this class directly. So here I'm going to say employee dot employee ID equal to 123. Similarly, employee dot salary equal to 1000. Print details. So basically what I have done is I have created the instance of the employee class, directly access the data members and assign them values, and I'm invoking the print details to print the details of the class. So if you see here, it printed the values 123 and 1000. So far so good. Imagine what would have happened if I assigned the employee.salary with a negative value. So I assigned a negative value of -1000. And if you see here, it was able to assign the value of -1000 to the salary data member. So the reason being, it is these data members here are not encapsulated. So let's see the same use case, how we can encapsulate this. So the first thing that you do is make these data members private. And the next thing that you do is, in order to allow the user to access the values of employee ID and salary, you create getters and getters and setters. So it is easy to generate automatically. Just right click, source. Here you have an option, generate getters and setters. Once you do this, it will ask you for which are the attributes you want to create the getters and setters. So we are going to do for both. employee ID and salary. And if you see here, it generated the getters and setters for all the two attributes that we had. So now if you see here, I won't be able to access the employee ID and then the salary directly. The only way I can access them is by saying employee dot set employee ID where I given the value. Similarly, I'm going to say employee dot set salary. I'm going to feed in the negative value. So now what I can do is I can have logic inside this setter where I will not assign the value if it is less than 0. So I'm going to do the other way. So only when it is greater than or equal to 0, assign the value. Otherwise, don't assign. So now let me just run this. So if you see here, although I tried to assign a value of -1000, it didn't really assign. The reason being we are setting the values through the like a setters. So basically it encapsulates this data and then it ensures that the data is really valid at any point. I hope this gives you a good idea about what is encapsulation and how to achieve encapsulation in Java.